there, and welcome back to Reading Rule, y'all. I'm your host, Dr. Shay Parton, and I'm so excited because this week we begin a new 4-part deep dive, I guess 5 if you count the author talk, into Christopher Barzak's The Gone Away Place. As always, we'll begin with a summary and reading of the first pages, but first, I wanted to say that the reason I even know about this book is because of the existence and work of the Whippoorwill Book Award for Excellence in Rural Young Adult Literature. The Gone Away Place was a 2019 recipient of the relatively new award, and I'm so glad that I found it and the book, the award and the book. There's a link in the description below, and for those of you who listen to the podcast version of Reading Rural, y'all, there's a link on the episode posted to the Literacy in Place website, which will take you to the Whippoorwill site, so you can check it out and see past winners, as well as learn about the criteria that they use to select those winners. Also, if you don't follow me on Twitter at Reading Rural or on Instagram at Dr. Shay Parton, you should, because you'll always be in the know about this kind of stuff. And if you want to learn more about the award, make sure you stay tuned to Reading Rural, y'all, too, because I'll be sitting down to chat with Dr. Jen Sanders from Oklahoma State University, who's a founding member of the award committee. So make sure you stay tuned to that to learn more about this excellent award. Okay, so on to the summary. So The Gone Away Place is a fictional story inspired by actual events. Barzak discusses that in his author note, which, as you know, I am now reading. I used to skip it, but I don't know why, and now I'm reading them, and I learn a lot more. So, in 1985, an outbreak of over 40 tornadoes broke out across Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and parts of Ontario, Canada. Over a period of 9 hours, many of the tornadoes measured F4, and one even measured F5 on the Fujita scale. The damage was catastrophic and unprecedented. Barzak grew up in Trumbull County, Ohio, where the fiercest of the tornadoes appeared, measuring more than 300 feet across and moving at more than 50 miles an hour for a total of 47 miles. His memories of this event and the more frequent unpredictable weather patterns we're seeing due to climate change compelled him to write this story. He says, "In this new world where we're experiencing more frequent extreme weather events due to a changing climate and natural disasters continually threaten, it seems we should brace ourselves for more challenging times, not just as individuals, but also as communities, both local and global. We will need one another to recover and to grieve all that we have lost and may still lose. It's my hope that this book might serve to make others experiencing tragedies of this kind feel less alone as they find their way forward in their own stories." In this particular story, we follow Ellie Frame. After having an argument with her boyfriend in the school parking lot, Ellie decides to skip school and heads to the town's lighthouse to process and reflect. While there, she watches as her town, Newfoundland, is obliterated by a series of tornadoes that leave more than 90 people dead, including Ellie's classmates, best friends, and boyfriend Noah. In the days and weeks that follow, Ellie pretends that she's fine when anyone, including her parents, asks how she's doing, but really, she's seeing the ghosts of her friends and neighbors. Ellie navigates the aftermath by capturing the stories of those who lived and those who died, including her own. She grapples with her own survivor's guilt, hoping that one day she'll be able to find herself again. Now, y'all know I love first pages. So there are a few different chapters that have different narrators, but for the most part, this book is from the perspective of Ellie. And so I'll start where she starts. This chapter, it's the first chapter, and it's entitled The Last Will and Testament of Ellie Frame. This is the hardest story I've ever had to tell. Not because I don't have anything to say, though, and not because I don't have anything of value to leave behind. It's the hardest story I've ever had to tell because I'm the one who's been left behind. And there's no one my last words will find. There's no one to read my testament and say, Ellie was my best friend, or she helped me push my car out of a snowdrift down the road from her house that year we had a freak snowstorm in the middle of April. Or Ellie was my girlfriend, and whenever she saw me, she always kissed me first on the cheek and then on the lips, and in private when no one else was looking, on the space between my neck and shoulder. That was Ellie Frame. Remember her? She always had a smile ready, even for people who seemed to perpetually scowl at the world. Her. The girl with the camera. I think she was the editor of our yearbook. Everyone I ever loved is gone now. Dead. Dead as dead can be. Dead as dead can be. An expression that only a few weeks after the outbreak, as my mom calls the storm that took so many lives, is open to interpretation. It turns out that dead as dead can be is different for everyone. For you, for me, for the dead. Because some of them remain very much alive, even now after they've lost everything. Heartbeats, brainwaves, the last breaths they held in their chests as they knelt in the hallways of our high school, right before the roof and the walls began to fly apart, whirling up into the sky higher and higher. The last thoughts they held in their minds, the last words they held in their mouths, right before the world turned to fire around them. Some people, dead or alive, simply can't leave. They have their reasons, and no matter how much grief their presence may cause, they sit across the table from us anyway, pretending to sip at a mug of coffee. Or they just stand over there in a dark corner, waiting for something even they don't know they need. Some are angry, some are frustrated, some are confused, and some are sad. So sad. Some of them are all of these things, and nothing any one of us can say or do will put them at ease. And this is the hardest story I've ever had to tell, for reasons that go beyond not having anyone left to hear it. It's hard because already I've made a mistake in trying to tell it. I said, everyone I ever loved is gone now, but that isn't completely true. My mom and dad are still with me. It's my friends who are gone. Becca, Adrian, Rose, and him, Noah. The one who, whenever I saw him, I would kiss first on his bristly cheek, then on his lips where the scent of cinnamon gum still lingered, and when no one else was looking, on the space between his neck and shoulder, that soft and private place where no one, he said, had ever kissed him before I did. All of them are gone now, and Newfoundland itself is barely recognizable unless you squint at the wreckage of the place in just the right way, at just the right time of day, when the shadows of evening move closer in order to see the ghost of what it once was. My parents, on the other hand, are all too present. They hover with worry. I hear their concerned whispers coming from their bedroom at night when they think that I've fallen asleep. When they don't realize I'm awake and holding my breath, trying not to scream, trying to figure out how to tell this story, if to no one else than to myself. I love them. I do love them. I love them more than anything, really. So when I say that everyone I've ever loved is gone now, that's not the truth. It just feels like it. So those are the first few pages. Hopefully it gives you an idea of the writing and the narrative voice. I hope that you'll hurry out and pick up a copy of this award-winning and beautiful book for you or a reader you know who'd love it. Stay tuned because next time I'll be doing and discussing a mini analysis of the ways that place functions in and shapes the story. But until then, y'all come back now, would ya?